Dear students, in the present session, we will introduce oligopoly market structure. It is known to you that market is classified into perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. There is also monopsony, etc. Of these market structures, what we consider in the present session is oligopoly market structure. Perhaps it is the most widely prevalent market structure in a modern capitalist economy. In the theory of markets, what we do is we study price and output determination in the short run and also in the long run. In a competitive market, we know how price and quantity are determined in the short run and long run. Under monopoly and also monopolistic competition, we study the same thing, how price or output are determined. Under oligopoly market structure also, our concern is the determination of price and output. But unlike perfect competition, monopoly or monopolistic competition, under oligopoly we have many models of price and output determination due to a very important characteristic of oligopoly, namely interdependence. So before explaining price and output determination, let us see what is oligopoly and what are some of the characteristics of oligopoly and how we define the concept of equilibrium in an oligopoly market. Now, in the form of a definition, oligopoly is the market structure in which a few sellers who clearly recognize their mutual interdependence produce bulk of the market products. Oligopoly is the market structure in which a few sellers who clearly recognize their interdependence produce bulk of the market output. That is the definition of oligopoly. It is known as competition among few. Competition among few. And the simplest case of oligopoly is duopoly, where there are only two sellers, two producers. So, oligopoly is characterized by few sellers. Not simply few sellers, few big sellers who clearly recognize their interdependence and who produce much of the market output. Now, given this definition of oligopoly, let us see what are the characteristics. As it is clear from The definition, the first characteristic of oligopoly is interdependence. Interdependence. As there are only a few sellers, whenever an action is taken by one firm, there will be reaction from other firms. This is because as each seller is so huge, if a decision about price or quantity is taken by one firm, it will have considerable impact on other firms. So whenever an action is taken by one firm, there will be reaction from rival firms. And remember this, interdependence is a character typical to oligopoly. There is no interdependence under perfect competition, monopoly or monopolistic competition. In all these market forms, each firm is assumed to be independent when they take decisions about price, quantity, whatever. But under oligopoly, there is interdependence. Any decision taken by one firm will be countered by the rival firms. Then, a second one is importance of advertisement and selling activities. Importance of advertisement and selling activities. Under oligopoly, due to interdependence, each firm will resort to what is known as aggressive sales promotion activities. Aggressive sales promotion activities. Because if one firm resorts to a major advertisement campaign and if there is no reaction from the rival firms, the rivals will lose considerable market share. And this is also in contrast to other market forms. Under perfect competition, as all the firms are producing homogeneous products, there is no advertisement because the product of one firm cannot be distinguished from the product of other firms. Under monopoly, when a new product is introduced by the monopolist, to make the product known to the customers, he will make some advertisement only when a new product is introduced. Under monopolistic competition, there is advertisement but not much. Monopolistic competition is characterized by product differentiation, so there will be advertisement. But remember this, under monopolistic competition, each firm is very small. So their capacity to spend on advertisement is limited. So under monopolistic competition, there will be advertisement, but advertisement is only limited amount of advertisement because the capacity to advertise is low. So advertisement and selling activities is very important under oligopoly. The third one is group behavior. The third characteristic feature is group behavior. Due to interdependence, there is group behavior. And as there is group behavior, remember this, group behavior is also absent under perfect competition, monopoly or monopolistic competition. So as there is group behavior, we do not know how the members of the group will behave. As there are no single accepted theory of group behavior. Whether the members will move together, they will cooperate with each other, or they will compete with each other. We do not know whether the members will cooperate with each other or whether they will compete with each other. So, a wide variety of behavioral patterns are possible. If we assume that the members will cooperate, we have what is known as collusive oligopoly. Collusive oligopoly. And depending on the method of collusion, we have price leadership, we have cartel, etc. If we assume that they compete with each other, they will not cooperate with each other, again, depending on the behavioral pattern of the competitors, we call this conjectural variation. Assumed response, conjectural variation, depending on the assumptions about the assumed response of the competitors, we have many models of non-collusive oligopoly. Non-collusive oligopoly. So unlike perfect competition, monopoly or monopolistic competition, we have a large number of oligopoly models resulting from what is known as interdependence and group behavior and the non-predictability of group behavior. And we will consider models of collusive oligopoly. Also, we will consider models of non-collusive oligopoly. Now, remember also this. In the oligopoly markets, products may or may not be differentiated. Product differentiation is not a feature of oligopoly. Product differentiation is not a feature of monopoly. Products may or may not be differentiated. If the products are differentiated, we have differentiated oligopoly. If the products are homogeneous, we have a homogeneous oligopoly like this. So product differentiation is not a characteristic feature of oligopoly. What matters is only a few firms account for most of the market output. A few firms account for most of the market output. Also, in some oligopoly markets, firms will earn substantial profits over long periods of time. Firms will earn substantial profits over long run or long periods of time because of what is known as barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. Due to barriers to entry, firms in the oligopoly markets will earn substantial amount of profit in the long run or for long time periods. This is especially true in the case of automobiles, steel, aluminium, petrochemicals, computers, etc., etc. Now the question is, why might barriers to entry arises? Why there are barriers to entry? One is scale barriers. Scale barriers. That is the existence of economies of scale, we will say. Scale barriers or economies of scale make it unprofitable for more than a few firms to exist. Remember this. In the theory of monopoly, it is known to you that one reason for monopoly is scale barriers. It is known as natural monopoly. Due to scale barriers, entry by other firms is not profitable, or it is not profitable for generalizing it. It is not profitable for many firms to exist simultaneously. That is one reason for barriers to entry. The second one is patents or access to technology. Access to technology. Patents or access to technology. If there are patents or access to technology, and if it is not available to other firms, entry will not take place. The third one is need to spend a lot of money to make the product known to the customers for getting name recognition or market recognition. That is the initial cost of launching the product. Make it known to the customers will be enormous. So these are some of the reasons for barriers to entry. Scale barriers, patents or access to technology, lot of money, requirement for making the product known to the customers, etc. In addition to this, the existing firms, the incumbent firms, resort to what is known as strategic behavior. The incumbents resort to what is known as strategic actions. Strategic actions. In addition to barriers to entry, entry is prevented due to strategic action by incumbent or existing firms. As an example, existing firms may threaten to drive prices down if entry takes place. And to make it credible, make this threat credible, they construct extra production capacity. So they were threatened the entrant that if entry takes place, they will considerably increase their output so that in the post-entry period, everyone will make a loss. To make this threat credible, they will build up a capacity to make entry not attractive. So strategic action. Now there is a definition of the dictionary meaning of strategic action is a person is engaged in a game of strategy with someone else. A person is engaged in a game of strategy with someone else when his payoff, that is his return, when his payoff is affected not only by the actions that he takes, but also by the actions that his opponents takes. His payoff depends not only on the actions he takes, but also the actions taken by his opponents. Then we say that the action is strategic action. So under oligopoly, existing firms will take strategic action. It is not in the case of other market structures. So barriers to entry is one reason why existing firms will enjoy huge profits for long periods of time. Also, existing firms will take strategic action to make entry not attractive. And what makes oligopoly different from other market structures is not whether the product is differentiated or not. Product may be homogeneous, may be differentiated, but what is important is most of the market is supplied by a few huge firms characterized by interdependence and what is known as group behavior, strategic action, entry barriers, etc. etc.